Here we are, C2E2 2018. Are you guys having a good day? You guys want to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy 2? Please welcome to the stage Sean Gunn and Dave Batista.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they say there. Cause all I do is win.
What's up, Chicago?
Chicago is happy to have you guys. Are you guys happy to have them here?
I'm here because I heard that Dave was going to be singing songs from Frozen and Hannah Montana. Is that right? Did I get that right?
It was the plan, but I got a little sick, a little cold, and my voice is just gone. I feel self-conscious about it. So I'm sorry, guys.
You know what? We forgive you. It's okay. We can skip the singing this time. You guys, I gotta say, I am such a huge fan of the Guardians movies, and I rewatched Guardians 2 on the plane, crying on the way here because it is just one of my favorite films. I want to know, starting with you, Sean, you had such a larger speaking role in this one, and then also you did so much work with Rocket. How was it to essentially play two characters in the movie?
It was, I was very busy.
Yeah.
And the days where I'm playing both characters can be really tricky because we just there's a few scenes in the movie that both Kraglin and Rocket are in, and we would just shoot around it and do it from both sides, and sometimes I'd I couldn't crouch down as Rocket in the Kraglin jumpsuit, so be doing wardrobe changes and everything like that. But fortunately, there's not too much of that. But it was great. It was a great experience.
Well, for those who don't know, I want to kind of paint a picture. Obviously, Bradley Cooper is the voice that everyone hears. Mm-hmm. But during the filming process of not just Guardians, but Infinity War, you were actually playing Rocket, voicing the character and acting the character so that the actors aren't forced to interact with just a little tennis ball or something.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I play Rocket on set, and my job is primarily two things. I'm there for the other actors so that when they're performing the scene that they're not looking at a tennis ball on a stick or an empty space. They're working with another member of an ensemble to create a scene. And then I also provide a reference for the visual effects team when they get into the, when they start animating Rocket, they have a visual reference for how the character's moving, where he's looking, what his hands are doing, and a lot of that kind of thing. And then later on in the process, when they have a draft of the character, Bradley Cooper then goes into the booth, and he's got the scene sort of set out for him, and he completes the whole picture. So it takes a team of people to create Rocket.
It definitely does, and I mean, I think that it's such a smart choice to have done it the way that it has been executed, because it makes a huge difference.
I agree. It keeps me employed. So yeah. I agree that it's a smart choice.
I don't think that would be difficult either way. Dave, Drax the Destroyer is such a great character. I mean, so literal. I absolutely. Into the second you talk about the outfit hurts my nipples, and then later in the movie when the suit is put on, you're like, it's just phenomenal. How did you find the voice of Drax?
Honestly, through James Gunn. Drax's voice is really James Gunn's voice. I'm just his muse. And I actually think he writes for Drax just to amuse himself.
I agree.
But it all comes from him. And I think, I hope he's not upset, but the whole sensitive nipple thing actually.
Oh, I know.
Tell the story.
It's because James Gunn has sensitive nipples. So he thought it would be funny to write it in, so he's just getting a laugh out of me. But I think a lot of times he just finds so much amusement in Drax, and we've talked about this before. We were talking about it earlier. He gets really excited about, even when we're performing stuff that he's written, he's watching us, and we can hear him laughing off set. But when it comes to, I think, Drax, in particular, he just gets such a kick out of him. And I get a lot, I get a lot of knowing that I'm doing a good job by gauging it from his laugh. And he loves to write for Drax, and he thinks Drax is hysterical.
And you're so funny, Dave. I mean, Dave's always, he's such a humble guy, and he's always giving credit to other people and saying it's James and stuff. But I think Dave is so great in the role, and I think also that when my brother writes, he can hear your voice in his head when he's doing it, and he knows how to write for your cadence and that kind of thing. And it's a great collaboration.
And that was what we were saying earlier. We were talking about that was one of the luxuries we had for the second film, as he wrote specifically for us. He really knew us as people and as performers, and he really the script was just tailor-made for us.
And if I can say something about Dave's nipples as well.
Please do.
What's funny, the funny thing about that line is that line was in the first movie where Drax says, he's like, I've got sensitive nipples. And Dave was like, I really don't want to say that, man. I don't want to. He didn't want to do it. And he's like, no, you have to, man. It's in the script. You have to do it. He's like grumbling, and he's like, oh man, this sucks. And and then it got cut from the movie. And that little moment didn't make it in the movie. He thought he was off the hook. And then the very first scene of the second movie, he's like, oh, no.
But let me tell you how that initially happened. So we were over in London for the first film, and this was never in the script. So we went for rehearsals. We were there for rehearsals, and we go, we're sitting there, we're reading our lines, and I'm reading through my lines, and I see it, and I was like, I don't remember this being in the script. And I'm looking up at James, and he's sitting there going, I was like, I don't remember this being in the script. He said, that's because I just wrote it last night. And as soon as I said it, I have sensitive nipples. He just bursted out in laughter.
It's the best moment it's one of my favorite moments in the movie. And no matter how many times I see it, I still laugh.
But I actually don't have sensitive nipples. I mean, they're kind of like the makeup, they're ripping off my nipples. If I had sensitive nipples, I'd be in real trouble.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
That's that's TMI, right? That's weird. It just got weird. Sorry.
So the Drax character has a different origin story in the comics than is in Guardians. So did you, when you were originally cast, did you know of the origin story? Did you have knowledge of the character previously, or was it just fresh, clean slate? And how did you approach?
I had no idea. I wasn't familiar with the Guardians. I wasn't familiar with Drax. I got these sides. It just made no sense to me. I was all freaked out because I knew it was a big audition, and my agent was telling me, well, it's a real long shot anyway. And so, my hopes.
That's a great agent.
And then, but I was talking to my acting coach, and he was so thrilled about it. He's a huge comic book geek. He was so excited. He was like, look, just go and do some research on Drax and come back to me after you've done some research. And I went and I researched, and there was so many different versions of Drax throughout the years. And there was really just one. It was a picture. It was a visual that I saw of Drax, and I just connected to it, and I thought, I can do this, man. I know this guy. I can do this guy. And that was it. It was one picture that I just latched onto.
And I want to jump in too and point out that it is funny, but it's true. Dave was a long shot to get that role when he auditioned originally, and it's a testament to how awesome he is, and what a great audition he gave over and over again. And
it was months worth of auditions.
And he beat out, a lot of great actors and people with much longer pedigrees and resumes by being the best person who came in, which is really great.
I mean, that's kind of what makes Guardians so special, is that not only is it an ensemble cast, and you can tell off screen you guys all get along, but there's...
Except Rooker, but go on.
Right.
Rooker.
Well, he's not here this weekend, so... and Yondu's dead, so... Wow.
That was harsh. We all just don't like him.
I actually really like him. But anyway, the ensemble cast, and the thing is, there's not that huge standout one, star. Everybody really seems to work together. It seems to be what makes the movie special and really work.
Yeah.
How was reporting to Infinity War for you guys?
It was, I think it was first of all, have to preface everything by saying I can't say hardly anything about Infinity War. It's like I don't want a little poison dart to shoot me in the neck.
It's like the Hunger Games.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think is anybody from Disney around. I think it was both. It was comfortably different and the same. It was different in that it was a new experience and new directors and new team of people. But it also, as Dave has said, it's like we got on set the first day and it was the Guardians, and and it was basically just us the first, mostly for the first few days, and that was it. That felt comfortable, and my brother wrote large sections of the dialogue for the Guardians, so that felt comfortable as well.
Yeah, that's what it just came out that he did that, and I thought that was so smart of especially the Russo brothers to allow him to do that because it kept the continuity of the characters.
Yeah, I mean that's the great thing about this is the Russo brothers, they're just awesome, and they were really encouraging, and they didn't want us to be their versions of the Guardians. They wanted us to be James Gunn's version of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and so that's what it was. It was getting over that initial fear at first of not knowing. And then stepping in and seeing that they just didn't want us to change us. They were actually very encouraging. They wanted the Guardians from Guardians of the Galaxy. They wanted to recruit that over. And when we were there filming, it was just us. And it was like our group as usual. The only thing missing was James Gunn. But it really always was like somebody joining us rather than us joining the Avengers. Because we outnumbered them, and it was always.
Dave, what drew you to acting in 2006 when you transitioned?
It's not a really interesting story, but I was wrestling at the time, and I had done a film. Oh man, this is gonna get really weird. I'd done a film for a friend, and it's so funny because, all right, so first of all, on that film, I realized that I was really bad at acting. And I really wanted to be, but I know it sounds weird, but I thought it was going to be easy. And I realized that it was really hard, and I was really horrible at it. And I was sitting there, and I was self-conscious, and I was embarrassed. I left that film thinking, God, I really want to be better at this. I want to do some more acting. And with wrestling, I was under contract with them, and they said, no, we need you on shows, and this is what you're going to do, and they were going to send other guys off to do movies. And I said, well, then I'm going to leave. I feel like I should have the opportunity to go outside the company if you're not going to use me for anything within the company. And they said no. I said, so I about 9 months later, I packed it up and started auditioning. But it's so funny because that first film now, and this is relevant now, but that first film where I was feeling awful and self-conscious and embarrassed, because the girl playing my topless girlfriend sitting next to me was actually Stormy Daniels. So.
Oh. Who knew?
So was just sorry.
I've never heard of her. Why is that?
I'm going to make it awkward as hell in here today. This is my mission. So anyway, just to make it even more weird, that was my first real experience on a film.
And then you just sort of dedicated yourself to learning the craft and sort of fell in love.
I really was. had no interest in being a movie star. I've never really been that guy after the kind of the glitz and glamour and spotlight. I wanted to be a good actor, man. I really wanted to be a good actor. It was just became an obsession. And that's really how it happened for me with wrestling as well. Originally, after I was 30-something, I was looking to make money. I was broke, but then I just became obsessed with wrestling, and I would have done it for free. And it's the same with acting. I just fell in love with it. I'm still, to this day, I'm obsessed with it.
Well, I'm telling you, you're a phenomenal actor.
Oh, thank you.
You are awesome. Do you guys have questions for Sean and Dave? Line up in the aisles, and we'll try to get through as many as we can. Okay. And while they're lining up, is there a scene in particular from Guardians 2 that stands out as being memorable to film? I mean, there's so many great scenes. You were talking about the end when you're with Rocket and Kraglin.
Yeah. I actually have one that just.
You do?
Yeah, and it's weird because a lot of times when I get asked questions like this, it's hard for me to, for me to pick one. I have a few favorite, but on that film, there's It's weird, right?
You go ahead. Yeah, that's a little
There's so-
reverb. Pull the mic down one.
There
Go ahead.
was the scene we did when we were around the campfire. For some reason, I loved filming that. I loved watching it on film. But it was just a great time. It was really comfortable. There was a lot of really funny dialogue that didn't even make it into the film. But it was just like a couple days of just sitting around and just kind of riffing and just having a lot of fun. It was very relaxed. It was great.
I would echo that. And the set was really cool.
Yeah.
And it really did feel like, I mean, it felt like we were in the middle of the woods in a lot of ways because there were all those trees around. And
It was just really cool.
yeah, it was cool. And I didn't have to eat as much Jello
I was
as you
eating
got.
Jell-O.
Yeah, blue Jello all
Me and
day.
Kurt Russell, blue Jell-O.
I know. Yeah.
I also like your scene at the end, actually when the credits are rolling, where you're playing with the arrow, and
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that
Great,
is
yeah.
That's a lot of
hilarious.
fun.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll start over here. Hi.
Hi, my name is Cami. I'm from Wisconsin, and I have a question for both of you. So in the stinger at the end of Guardians 2, like we saw Groot, going through like these tough teenage years, and I think that what's so great about Guardians is that they're like this dysfunctional family. So what role do you guys see Drax and Rocket playing in like as a father figure, or like the crazy uncle, or like the dysfunctional friend who's enabling his bad behavior? Where do you guys see those characters?
To me, like, I would place Rocket as like the grouchy uncle. He's like a grouchy, surly uncle, and Drax is he's just like, one of the siblings. He's one of the little kids. There's a lot of innocent. I know it sounds weird, but there is a real big innocent factor about Drax. There's a very childlike demeanor to him. I know that seems weird. But I think so, and I see him like that, and I think he interacts with his other siblings that way, especially Groot.
Well, but just because he's so literal and and kind of straightforward,
Yeah.
black and white.
So there's a certain innocence to him.
Yeah.
And I think also, like one of the things I really like about the second movie is Rocket's arc from feeling like an outsider to feeling like, okay, yeah, I guess I'm with these people, but I don't know that I'm really part of the family. To by the end of the movie feeling like, oh, these really are my people,
Thank you. Great question. Thank you. Hi.
Hi, Spencer from Wisconsin, and just want to say love both your work in the Guardians movies, and Sean, especially when you cheer the fireworks at the end, my whole family just kind of loses it at that part, so I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
So my question is, going into Infinity War, without any spoilers or anything, obviously, but just what character, either from the Avengers or other Marvel character, were you excited for your character to interact with?
I don't even know if they can answer that.
We can't. I mean, I can't say any of the people that I worked with on Infinity War. I guess I can. I guess we could say Thor because that's in the trailer that's been released. But we can't really say much. I can say that I was very excited to meet all of those actors, regardless of who, we actually filmed with or didn't film with. Like, meeting those people was a lot of fun and really cool, and like they're all legends, I don't know. Ask me after the movie, man.
Yeah, you got like 3 weeks, then you can ask him. It seems
For me, it was Downey. Yeah, I've been a fan since I was a kid, and I was really excited. I've been hoping for this for the years, and I have to say that. So I had gone to the last Avengers premiere in London. I was there shooting Spectre, and I had gone to that premiere. Thank you, and Robert went out of his way to come up to me and tell me how much he loved the first Guardians, and that like meant the world. That was like a surreal moment for me. That was like a big deal. And I was thrilled. I couldn't wait to get on set with this guy. I just love him, and he's a sweet person, and he's so very talented. So that easily Robert Downey Jr. for me.
Awesome, thanks guys.
Thank you. Hi.
Hey, Julian from New York. How you doing today, Batista?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm wide awake. Now, with WrestleMania happening within the next few days, I would suggest a good match for you in the future. Batista versus Brock Lesnar. What do you think about that?
Never happened.
Never?
No,
Sorry to burst your bubble.
I have one match left that I'd like to do, and I would end my career with that. Or I'd like it to be a full run, and when I say full run, I mean like maybe 3 pay-per-views, and a bunch of house shows because I just really love house shows. But it would be with Triple H, and it wouldn't be with anybody else, and they know that. And unless they give me that, I just won't go back. I'll call it a day, call it a career. But that's what I want, and I'll either go back and do that or I won't go back.
Thank you. I've been a huge fan of yours for over 10 years.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, my name is Hugo. I'm from Indonesia, but I'm currently studying film here. I love you, Dave Bautista,
Oh,
from
thank you.
the man with the iron fist.
Oh, thank you.
And I also saw you on Spectre and Blade Runner 2049.
Thanks, man.
And as for the Guardians, probably my favorite scene with you is when you are making you are laughing at when Mantis said to Chris Pratt's character and Gamora, she said something about sexual love. I think that was my favorite scene.
Oh, thank you.
My question is that I actually have two questions, but the other one is for Infinity War, so I don't want to say it.
Yeah,
but I know that Sean Gunn played the stand-in for Rocket in the first two Guardians, and then from Infinity War. I just want to ask, who did the stand-in for Groot in the first two Guardians of the Galaxy films? Is it Vin Diesel? Is he there?
No.
No, Ben is not there on set. When we shoot the first Guardians. There's a Polish actor named Christian who was playing Groot on set. And then in the second movie, we were all upstaged by air. Nothing. There was nothing for Baby Groot. Yeah.
Yeah, Baby Groot is one of my favorite characters. No.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your questions. Hi.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Chris from Omaha. Dave, dope shirt.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. So, Dave, you told a story on either JR or Chris Jericho's podcast about going in and trying to lose some weight before going in for the role because you're a pretty big dude.
Yeah.
And they told you to put some on, and you were like, great, let me go hit bench press.
Right.
So, I thought it was a cool story. I was curious, going from London to coming back and filming domestically, how you balance being on set up against diet, exercise, and things like that.
It's just weird. It was something I've always done. I had to do it with wrestling. I've just learned to do it. And there's, I have my good days and I have my bad days. And it's just something that if I feel like I'm gone too long without a workout, I'll start doing push-ups in my trailer. I start to get desperate. And it's also like it's a mental thing. It's a therapeutic thing for me. So I just need some form of exercise in my life. That particular time with Guardians is because my first, initially I was trying to lose weight because I could not find jobs acting. And I was trying to blend in more. I thought maybe that's the answer. I'll try to get smaller. I've been 300 pounds most of my life. And so I was trying to literally starving myself, and I stopped lifting weights, and I was just doing anything I could to get smaller and smaller. And then I go in and, audition for the role of Drax, and they say, well, we'd like you to be more muscular. Done.
No problem.
You got it.
It's funny. I remember there was a moment on when we were hanging out on set on the second movie, and Chris Pratt was saying how much he loved fishing, and he said, he's like, yeah, sometimes I just feel like, I could be happy just fishing all day, every day, and I'd be happy doing that. And Dave said, yeah, that's how I feel about training and working out. And I was like, what? I was like, that's how I feel about drinking and gambling. But
But truth be told, Sean, you have to keep up your physicality too, especially
That's true.
Yeah, what does your routine consist of?
It's true. I do a lot of stuff from my legs when I play Rocket. It's like it can get really hard on my feet and on my ankles because I spend a lot of time crouching and a lot of time folded
He walks around like this all day. You know how hard that is? Try
You can
doing
actually
that.
do it.
He
Some
does
people
this
can't
all
even
Yeah,
do
that's
day.
impressive.
And then he sits. What's that crazy way you sit? I can't even
Show us
do
the
it.
crazy way you sit.
I'm not quite wearing it. What is what are you talking about?
When
Just
you
like
do that thing,
oh yeah, like
he
this.
sits like that all
I sit
day.
like this all day. Yeah. This is actually very comfortable for me. Whatever.
You have very open hips.
But I do. I do. I know. I kept myself in really good shape for the second movie, and then less so. For Infinity War, I don't know. I thought it wasn't going to be as much time or something, and then it was, and I was like, I paid the price for it. But
Well,
getting back in shape.
that's an
Third
excellent
movie.
question. It's tough to work those hours and keep the physique up either way. Hi.
Hi there, Teresa from Michigan. My question's for Sean. Whose antics are more fun and insane to play, Rocket's or Kirk?
Oh, goodness. Gilmore Girls fans, thank you. They're certainly very different. I mean, those characters could not be more different from one another. I don't know. I don't ever compare the characters I play. I sort of love them all for different reasons. It's like, after a while, when you're acting, it's the roles you play become like children in a way, where it's like you don't pick a favorite. You love them for different reasons, and so I don't know. I love them both. Thanks.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, Mark from Michigan. I have a question about the character of Rocket. You know, in the first Guardians movie, music was a really big theme for Peter Quill, but it felt to me almost like in the second movie, music meant more to Rocket. I mean, he was the one really pulling out the stereo at the beginning of the movie. He needed the music to be played while they're killing off all the Ravagers. So I just wonder if I'm reading too much into it, or that was something really intentional from the set.
No, I don't think so. I don't think you're reading too much into it. I think it's an interesting point, and it's one I haven't heard a lot, but it's definitely true that, you know, Rocket and Quill, even though they fight and they get competitive with each other, they've also really become buddies. And Drax too. You know, they're all sort of becoming friends. And I think that's exactly right. That one of the things that Rocket likes about Quill is like he's got these rad tunes that he plays all the time, and Rocket's pretty into it. I think that's true.
Thank you. Did they, you know, music is such an important part of both those, you know, the first and the second. Did they ever on set give you guys a taste of what the background music was going to be, or was it?
Always.
Always.
Oh, they did.
Always music playing.
Always, yeah. The one of the things when my brother writes the script for both movies, the first thing they do in production is secure the rights to the songs, so that the scenes can be, when necessary, actually sort of choreographed to the songs, and sometimes the actors will even have earbuds with the soundtrack playing in their, you know, playing in our ears when we're doing the scenes, which is awesome. And I've never heard of another movie that does that.
No, me neither. That's amazing.
When the second film came around too, it was weird because it's like none of us wanted to do the scenes without, we wanted earbuds in, we wanted to be able to hear the music. In the first film, you know, it was great because you'd be surprised how much a song can just draw you into it and a certain emotion. And it was great because we could all be drawn into the same emotion, so we're all kind of on the same page, feeling the same thing. We know what the scene is, we know what the tone is. But on the second one, we were all like, yeah, where's the music? We want, you know, we were like,
Earbuds.
we're getting a little diva-ish about it. Yeah, we wanted our earbuds, especially for that particular song, the Fleetwood Mac song, "The Chain."
Oh.
We all just loved that. And then the thing with
and Father and Son at
and
the
the
end
thing
of the movie,
Father
too.
and Son with Yondu. God, it was. I mean, that song alone, man, just really
Oh, yeah.
just put you right there, man. It's really heartbreaking.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Kyle. I came all the way from Seattle for this. I met Sean there last year. And going off of what we were just talking about music is, this music James Gunn picks are terrific. And what I'm asking you two are, what are one or two songs you would want to hear in Guardians 3?
Good question.
Don't look at me, man. I don't
Oh,
know.
well,
Yeah, I don't know.
I probably could think of 100 songs, but right off the top of my head, I was hoping that there might be a little Journey. I'm a really huge Journey fan. I was hoping we might throw some Journey in somewhere. Yeah.
I like that idea.
Well, I think, and you know, this is not. Don't take this as a rumor because I don't know, but I would think that it's possible that some of the songs in the third movie could be from Yondu's Zune.
I agree. Yeah.
You know, so like, who knows if it could open the door to a wider variety of stuff. But I honestly don't know. I swear to you, I don't know if that's true or not. But yeah, I don't know. There's lots of stuff, but it doesn't matter what I would want to see in the movie because my brother takes great pride in telling people that he handpicks all the songs himself without any help from anyone.
I guarantee you, he's already got the soundtrack. He's got it. Yeah.
Sure, yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
Two I would pick are Break On Through the Other Side by The Doors and Wanted Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi.
Those are good ones.
Fair
Thank
enough.
you. Hi.
Hi, I'm Amanda from Adrian, Illinois. My question is for Dave. So my grandma is obsessed with wrestling, and I was wondering if I could record a shout out for her.
Go for it.
You know what? We got to do that later, Downey. Yeah, we can't do that now. I'm sorry. Otherwise, everyone would want to do that. I'm sorry. Do you have a question?
Shout out to everyone's grandmother.
To all the grandmas.
All the grandmas.
Do you have a question?
I do.
Okay.
If you had to choose between wrestling or acting, which would you do?
Oh, that's unfair. At the moment, and they're so different, and I love the immediate feedback of wrestling. I always tell people it's as close as a performer can get to being a rock star, like as an actor can get to being a rock star, and that's what it feels like. It's that adrenaline rush, and I love it. But right now, like I said, I'm really just kind of obsessed with acting, and I don't think, I was really on cruise control with my professional wrestling career, and I loved it very much. I put everything I had to it, but I was on cruise control, and if I went back, it would only be to close out my career. And what I'm onto now is my passion is acting. So right now it would be acting.
You don't have to choose, man. You
Yeah,
do both.
See, that's
awesome.
Yeah, that's a luxury.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, my name's Gwen, and I have a question for Sean. I really like the Gilmore Girls and Guardians of the Galaxy, but I just wanted to know what you thought that your favorite invention from Kirk in the Gilmore Girls might have been.
My invention? I'm not sure Kirk's smart enough to invent anything, is he?
I mean, he invented Uber, technically.
Oh, that's right. I see. You mean harebrained scheme? Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to say my favorite thing is Kirk. I will say that one of the most fun things about playing that character was the moment when I'd pick up the envelope with the script in it for that week, right before I open it, and not know what I was going to be doing that week, but knowing it could be anything and everything and something bonkers usually.
I have to tell you the story, and I've told him, he's heard this before, but after it was actually the press tour for the first film. I was in Toronto, and I was up there by myself, and I'm promoting the film, and I was with this, I won't say what company she works for, but the company have a mouse as its figurehead, but she was this beautiful, really smoking hot, 20-something-year-old marketing rep, and all she wanted to talk about was this dude. I'm like, hey, I'm doing everything. I'm sticking out my chest. Yeah, so my part's really big in Guardians. It's really, I've really come a long way as an actor. And so what's Sean Gunn like?
You never got me her number either, dude. What's up?
No,
Missed opportunity.
I did tell him about it, and he was dating someone at the time.
Yeah.
He's a loyal guy, and he said, "Thanks, man. Thanks for letting me know." Moving on.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Gary, and I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I'm a huge wrestling fan. I've watched since I'm young. I'm the kid that's got the trampoline in his backyard and jumping off through 2 tables with his friends. So that's been a huge part of my life.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah, I read those little, do not do at home, and I was like, well, I'm trained. I'm okay. I'll jump through the table, but I'll be all right. But I was super stoked to see when you got casted in the MCU because my second favorite hobby is comics. So I want to know, how is the transition between the wrestling world and the MCU or the comic book world, because they're very much 2 different audiences of crowds?
It's weird. I've found that not necessarily to be the case. I feel like it's this very much the same audience. But oddly enough, I think there was, when I was first rumored to be up for Drax, I was getting bashed all day long. The fans just the MCU did not want it, which is what I could tell. But the crossover into acting itself was not easy. It was a hard 3 years, and it's still somewhat hard. I think I've broken down most of the barriers, but it's still getting people to look past, kind of this big musclehead image, and see that I'm really actually a very an aspiring actor. But yeah, it wasn't easy. But I think I think you might be a little mistaken there. I think it's the same audience, man. Yeah, I think wrestling.
You're not
fans are-
aspiring anymore, man.
Yeah,
You're
no,
there.
I am, man. I think the day I say that I'm not aspiring is the day that it's over for me. I want to be better. I want to be a better actor.
Yeah. I understand that feeling too, actually.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Stephanie, and I turned 50 on Sunday, and I heard Michael Rooker his birthday is today. And since I love all of you, and since all of us do, could we sing Michael?
We can't
happy
do
birthday?
that. We're not going to do that right now.
I'm not singing anything for Rooker. But yeah, Rooker turned 78 years old today, so that's really happy birthday, Rooker.
Do you have a question, though?
No, I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming, and we really enjoy everything you're doing.
Thank you for coming.
And happy
Hi.
birthday to you.
Yeah, birthday.
Hi, I'm Bob from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I wanted to say first, I think you're being too hard on yourself about that first movie. Having seen it and owning it on Blu-ray, I actually enjoyed you in the role, and I've
thanks,
seen how far you've come,
Thanks,
and
man.
I was really impressed with what you did in the first Guardians movie.
Thanks.
All that online hate that you mentioned, I think those people probably don't know your resume and didn't see that movie and didn't understand the character, because I thought you were a perfect fit for that role.
Oh, thanks, man.
And people online are such idiots. It's like, it's before the movie even comes out that you get hate for it, right? There's like people who are who are pissed, like it's just ridiculous. It's absurd.
It's always, you're always mad about something.
Yeah.
Well,
Probably Russian bots anyway.
And I had a question for Sean. What was it like to do a movie like Super, which is a superhero movie that's kind of under the radar, and then to also get to do something like Guardians with James as well? Like, what was that transition like? Was that just crazy?
Yeah, I mean the scope of the two different movies is
Super's
crazy, but I love Super. It's a movie, if you've never seen it, I'm really proud of it. It's a movie my brother wrote and directed with Rainn Wilson and Ellen Page and Kevin Bacon, etc. Yeah, I don't know. There's certain things about it that are wildly different, but like anything, when you go to make a movie, you're trying to tell a great story, and that part is the same. And I think my brother and I have always been focused on that, and our whole career is from different sides of it, but still, like you keep your eye on that ball when that you are telling a story, and that stays the same no matter what the budget is.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, I'm Kimo, originally from Hawaii, and I have this question for Dave. You mentioned on ENC's podcast that wrestlers compared to actors are more perceived as their characters and rather than this amazing person who can take on all these roles. How was that transition into this huge responsibility to be Drax, despite all of the hate and despite even having so much difficulty finding your agent? What role did Saldana and Gunn and Pratt play in that new role of being a Marvel character?
You know, it's weird. They embraced me right from the beginning. It was weird. And, you know, Zoe was actually the last cast member that I met. And I was a little nervous because she was probably the most established among us. And I was a little bit nervous. I actually met her in London. We had showed up for rehearsals. And I remember her car being behind us as we were driving to the studio. And my driver told me that's Zoe behind us. And I was a little bit nervous and get out. So I got out of my car. And she literally jumped out of her car and came running to me. And said, Batista! She gave me a big hug, and she was like a sweet. So they all like really embraced me right from the beginning, and they were never anything but encouraging and treating me like a peer. Yeah, so I know it was always kind of a good experience, but I think it was weird. I think it just, people had certain perception of me from wrestling, and some people were, you know, when they meet me, they're happily surprised to find out that I'm not that guy. And some people are actually disappointed. I think I've found mostly that like younger men are a little disappointed that I'm not that guy. I'm not Mr. Cool. I don't have, you know, 5 girls with me. I'm not driving in a big flashy car. But it's not who I am. It was like a character I did, you know, when I was wrestling. You know.
Thank you.
Time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, man.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Jackson, and I'm from Chicago. My question for Batista. Now, I know you might not answer this, but I'm going to go ahead and ask you this. I wanted to ask you, is the WWE starting to actually mention Chris Benoit again? Because I've heard Kurt Angle and I've heard Sasha Banks mention him several times. And I'm wondering, is they slowly starting to forgive and forget and actually try to bring him back?
They'll never forgive. They'll never forget. It's really weird, man. That's a tough question to answer. And I don't know why they're starting to mention him again. I don't know what's going on internally. I haven't watched the show in forever. But this is what I can say personally about that. And I always tell people it's hard. Chris was one of the most honorable men I've ever met until the day he murdered his family. And that is the most honest way I can answer that. And it's just not something it's hard to talk about. But the guy who did that horrible thing, I don't know that guy. He doesn't exist to me. I have no idea who that monster is. But the Chris Benoit I remember was just a decent, honorable man.
Thank you. Hi.
Hello.
I totally have to Google that when I get home.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a hard subject.
All right. My name is Eric. I'm from Green Bay. Go Pack Go. And
Yeah.
All right. So my question was, for both of you, who would you go to eat dinner with, dead or alive? Anybody, just one person. Who would that be?
Past or present, nonfiction.
I'd go have dinner with Dave. I mean, that'd be great.
No matter who it would be, it would probably be like I'd be awkward and uncomfortable. Yeah, I don't know. I can answer that. It would be for me. It would be Lou Gehrig, and he's actually the only person that I've ever considered to be my hero. I don't know if a lot of you guys are familiar with Lou, but he's like just one of the most hardworking, humble men and athletes who's ever existed. And I love him. If one day my name could be mentioned in the same sentence as his, my life would have been worth something.
Yeah, it's I would give a probably pretty boring answer. Like I would probably say Martin Luther King, or
I'm boring.
I mean, it's like what if you could have dinner with Martin Luther King? Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great answer. Thank you so much. Great question. Hi.
Hi, my name is Eric, and I'm from Joliet, Illinois. I have a question for both of you. My favorite scene in Guardians 2 was when Drax was talking to Mantis about his family, and then she used her powers and just immediately started crying. It blows me away. I cry every time. What was your favorite, like, more emotional scene that you filmed from either of the Guardians films?
There was a couple for me. I think that was one of them, but also there was one, and this is, we kind of touched on this earlier, and this was the scene, and there's a great picture that's gone around. I've seen it a million times, but there's Sean crouching in his green suit, which eventually would have turned into an animated Rocket. But it's me Drax sitting with Rocket, and they're having just a sad moment because over the loss of Groot. And for me, it was really emotional, and you pick up on the emotion of that scene really just through me visually. And the reason why I was so emotional in that scene was because this dude was just pouring his heart out. And that goes back to something that he wasn't required to do. You're not required to do that when you're standing in for someone. You're doing the on-set Rocket. He knows he's not going to get credit for that. He doesn't have to pour his heart, but he was literally just pouring his heart out in the scene. And the reason is because he's a giving actor, and he was giving me that so he could draw the emotion out of me for my performance. Like, that's something that was so unselfish of him. But if you watch that scene, it's really a beautiful, beautiful scene with no dialogue. It's pure, raw emotion, and it kind of sucks you into that. But it's like little things like that. Like even with the part, like a lot of people remember this at the very end when Yondu has died in the second scene, with Sean doing that. It's just that simple motion, but a simple gesture. But
that was like tears.
But it's the emotion that he's pouring out, and that just draws you into it and makes you emotional. Like, that's how good this dude is.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
I honestly thought of the same scene when you asked the question. Yeah. And there are a bunch of scenes, I think, in both movies that I get. And I love the scene that you mentioned with him and Mantis. I also love that scene. Yeah. But yeah, I remember that moment in the first movie, which was really nice. It was towards the end of shooting, and we had been through, I think, a lot in the course of like just shooting the movie and all the emotions that come with that, and that moment was really great. And it's a good reminder for me, too, that it is, you know, acting is about giving something. It's about giving something of yourself. It's not about getting accolades or what happens after you're done. It's about creating something on set. And I really love that moment. And I actually have that picture on my table. You know, and of you and me. And once in a blue moon, somebody will say, and it really gets under my skin. It's one of the few things that fans say that almost kind of make me angry, is that sometimes somebody will be like, how hard was it to keep a straight face when, you know, when like Bautista's, and I'm like, dude, this is one of the most emotional scenes, you know, that I've ever played on film. And so it wasn't, there's none of that. It's like you're in it, inside of it when it's happening.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Thank you. Great
Thanks.
question. Thank you. Hi.
Hi, I'm Allison from Chicago. This question is for Sean. So speaking of your immense emotional capacity as an actor, I'm wondering what it was like to build Kirk's emotional interpretive dance about the journey of life.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And that's one of the few things, everything you've ever seen on Gilmore Girls is always verbatim scripted, word for word. Like there's no improvising of ad-libbing of anything. But that dance was just a dance, and in the script it said Kirk does an interpretive dance of the journey of man from birth to death. That's all it says in the script. Like that's what I do. And so I got on set and I said that Dan Palladino was directing that episode, and I was like, dude, what do you want me to do here? And he said, oh, you know, just do what you do.
You're like, okay. And that is?
So, sadly, for what it's worth, that's what I do, I guess, when he says do what you do.
He's a dance machine. Did you guys see Guardians Inferno? You guys, has anybody in here
The
not seen
Guardians Inferno video? You gotta
have
see
to
it.
watch
It's
it
great.
immediately. But we all showed up, like when I showed up, so there was a choreographer. They didn't go through dance routines. There wasn't time for them. There wasn't budget for that. But they had a choreographer that was there. And basically he was off camera and he said, just, you know, look at me and mimic me. And so he did this and I did that and he did this and I did that. But he said, Sean Gunn, I guess the choreographer was there, but Sean just started doing his own thing. He didn't need it. And it was great, man. It was incredible.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. There's something about humiliating myself that comes naturally to me.
Well,
Just
it's
a
Younger
performer.
brother,
Just
thing.
a
I'm the youngest
performer,
of
man.
6.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, my brothers used to trot me out and have me do little dances in front of people that they brought over to the house, I think. So I just grew up doing
It all paid off.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, my name's Ian. I'm from Cleveland. I got a question for Batista. What are the odds you can work a Batista bomb into one of the next movies?
I'm always up and willing. I actually, you know, I did a movie in China this year for a really incredible director named Wu Ping. You guys ever heard of Wu Ping? Very famous martial arts director. But he actually requested that I do it. He really wanted this on it, this in there. And you know, they do a lot of stuff with wires. And for some reason, the stunt team was just really insistent that they do it with wires. And I kept telling them, like literally for hours, they're trying to figure out how they can get this guy to go up on, you know, on wires. I was like, we don't need wires. We don't need wires. And I finally just grabbed the guy and it took him and I just lifted him up, went up, and they said, oh, okay, yes. But so it's coming. It's a spin-off of Ip Man. It'll be out actually, I think, sometime this year, and you'll get to see it. Yeah, it's happened. But yeah, I'm always up for it. I love doing it because it's just an homage to my wrestling career, and I love that. You know, I'm proud of my career. So you know, if I can squeeze in, I will. They did it with Man with the Iron Fist. Yeah, Rizzo wanted me to squeeze in because he was a wrestling fan. He wanted me to put it in there. So every once in a while, if I can squeeze it in, I will. But at the end of the day, if it's, you know, one of those bigger films, it's just not my call. Yeah, man, that's what I'm talking about.
Thank you.
You hear that, Brolin?
Hi.
Hi, my name's Aaron. I'm from Chicago. So first off, Mr. Batista, I really appreciate your sincerity, integrity, and honesty that you exude. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Yeah,
So that's
thanks.
really wonderful. I have a two-part question. One, Mr. Batista, what was your experience like working on Blade Runner 2049? And then also, do you think you could bench press Triple H?
Let's go with the Blade Runner
I don't know.
first.
He's gotten pretty heavy since he's been sitting in that office. That butt's looking a little large. But yeah, probably still. And my experience was it was nothing but great. And Denny is brilliant, but it's weird. It's those things. It's so different from the atmosphere on Guardians. Like Guardians it's a bunch of kids, man. It's a bunch of kids having fun in a very organized manner, but still a bunch of kids, a lot of energy. And it was just the opposite on Blade Runner. Everything is very quiet and everything's very personal. Denis is a very personal director, and everything's a very one-on-one conversation. And also, like Ryan Gosling is like Chris Pratt is super loud. Like he's really, really loud. I mean, he's just that guy. He's just full of life and energy. And Ryan is almost whispers when he speaks. I mean, you just hardly ever hear him. He doesn't have a lot of people around him. He's always by himself. And so it's just two different experiences, but it's like two different extremes. But it was amazing. And I was a little bit, of a huge fanboy, especially I actually met Harrison twice. I met him on the first day, and I don't think he knew who I was, and I was there being a fan. Han Solo, And he was a little annoyed with me, and he went off, and then a couple days later, I came back and was filming. I was actually on set filming, and he just dropped by the set, and came up, said, "Dave, Harrison, it's nice to meet you." And I'm looking at him like, "Hey, it's nice to meet you too." I didn't know if he was messing with me or not, but apparently not. So I met Harrison twice. But yeah, no, it was a great experience. I have nothing but great things to say about that whole project.
He gets a pass for that. You could be 20 times.
Yeah, I mean, what
nice to
could you
meet
say?
you, Harrison.
Yeah. It's like once I'm meeting Han Solo, then I'm meeting Indiana Jones, meeting Decker, meet them all.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, my name is Patrick from Naperville, Illinois. I got a quick comment for Dave and then a question for Sean. Dave, if you want to use this to make fun of your buddy Stephan Bonner, because I know you guys trained together in MMA.
Yeah.
When he decided to venture into pro wrestling last year, I was his first match ever.
Oh, geez.
How'd
that go?
When I dumped him, well, he was stiff as crap.
Yeah.
But when I dumped him out of the ring, he decided not to post and went head first onto the ground and busted himself open the hard way.
Yeah, he's that guy.
So you can use that on him.
Yeah. Well, I actually have one story I have to tell. I actually have two I have to tell. Stephan is the only guy to ever drop me. He hit me right on the top of the head and just put me down. I lost that couple seconds. And also, Stephan broke a chandelier in my house with one of my lightsabers.
That's a great story.
So there you go.
First shot on me, he busted my nose.
The best part is one of my lightsabers. Like,
Yeah.
Well, I had a whole
How
wall.
many do you have?
I had like a whole collection of
Not one of my chandeliers.
And then, Sean, this is just a question that it amuses me to think about it. If Dave Bautista were to move to Stars Hollow, how do you think he would fit in?
Dave seems to fit in anywhere
He'd
he
be
goes.
great in Stars Hollow.
Yeah.
He's low key. It's a lower pace of life. You're not like you'd like to be somewhere where
He's relaxed.
everyone's friendly and like kind of low key. I think he'd fit in well, actually.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, my name is Alyssa, and I'm from Glendale Heights. I just wanted to ask Sean, do you ever channel Kirk when you're playing Rocket or Kraglin?
That'd be weird.
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that. I mean, not consciously, but to the extent that all of the characters you play are sort of live inside of you somewhere.
Say there's a little piece of Sean Gunn in all of
Yeah, I don't know. I think, he probably bubbles up from time to time, unfortunately.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Zoe from Quad City, Illinois. I just want to say Guardians 1 and 2 are some of my favorite Marvel movies ever. I've never cried and laughed so much in one movie, especially with Guardians 2. But Dave, I have a question for you. So my mom sent me on a very important mission. She wants to know if you would be willing to go out with her.
Now, he does have a ring on his finger.
She's well aware. She's married too. She just wants to know maybe a date or just a date,
Wow.
I bet he would tweet with her online.
Yeah, you don't have to answer it right now. It's cool.
Do you have another question?
No, that's the one mission. I just love you guys very much. You guys are great. I just want to say that.
All right. Well, all
You're
right.
great too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Okay, we have time for 2 more questions. One on this side, one on that side.
All right.
Hi, my name's Eric. I'm from Palatine, Illinois. My question's for Dave. Wrestling's pretty brutal on the body, and I recently snapped my ulna. I was curious, do you have techniques for pain management that you used to use? Like meditation?
Surgery.
Or it was okay.
Yeah.
Surgery.
No, it was weird. It was one of those things. I took a lot of Advil, but I took, a lot of the guys, well, back then, a lot of the guys were running really hard, man. They were burning the candle at both ends. I was so, fitness minded that I just didn't. And there was a period in my career where I had no choice but to burn my candle at both ends because I was riding with Ric Flair. But but other than that, I was that guy who just, I wanted to be in the gym. I wanted to be in bed by a certain time. I wanted to eat good. And as well as that, I was preventative maintenance, and I was always like training and working out. But I think it's preventative maintenance more than anything else. So don't wait till you're injured to take care of it. It's like you're constantly taking care of yourself, stretching and icing, or you get sore here and there. Especially like even days where you've worked out so hard, and you probably know the feeling. You worked out so hard that you're sore and achy. Best thing to do that is work it out with a little bit, like walking or light jog or something like that to work that lactic acid out. But I know that's a boring answer, but it's preventative maintenance.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. Good luck with that elbow. And this is our last question. Hi.
Hi, I'm Courtney from Dyer, Indiana, and I was wondering if Dave could talk to us about his audition for Blade Runner, because it was awesome.
Oh, thank you. That was, it's weird. I actually auditioned for that, and I had to, but I auditioned for it while we were filming Guardians 2. So they actually came to us there on the set, and I did the screen test for Blade Runner on the set of Guardians 2. But so here's, I'll try to make this as short as possible, but when I was up for the role, the producers loved me for the role. They wanted to fly me out from Guardians to meet with Denis. So I flew out to LA, super excited to meet Denis because I was a big fan. So I went and I shook his hand, and within the first 2 minutes of meeting him, he said, "I'm sorry, my friend, but you are too young for this part." And which broke my heart, and I had also never heard that. I was like, man, I just can't win in this town. I'm too big, I'm too young now, I'm too old, now I'm too young. It's like, just can't win. So anyway, I sat and we talked for about an hour just about, movies and Montreal and whatever. And before I went back to LA, to Atlanta thinking I didn't have the part. And the producers still wanted me for the part, and they said Denis was willing to take a look at me and makeup tests. So they aged me up and sent pictures back to him, and he said, no, it just doesn't work. And then so they spent a lot of money for me to do a screen test in Atlanta while I was filming. So I did that. I did the screen test, and it was a whole process. So they brought in actors and everything and set up they did my whole makeup. And I did the part, and I did it the way I thought they wanted me to do it, and they loved it. Denis loved it. He said, "You got it. You got the part." And so anyway, when I go to film on the first day, and I thought, I did my screen test. I did it the way they liked it, and that's how they want me to portray this character. And when I started doing it, Denis came and said, no, that's all wrong. He actually wanted me to play it a very different part or a different way, because I thought that the character was very ominous, very menacing. I was thinking Rutger Hauer from the first film. I mean, that was kind of my motivation. But he said, no, he said, Sapper is not menacing. Sapper, he's heartbroken, he's sad. You should feel sorry for Sapper. All he wants to do is live his life out in peace, and people won't let him do that. Sapper is a very sad character. And so that's how I portrayed him, and people embraced it. They loved it, but that was because of his direction. So, sorry I made that a long story.
No, that's
I love it.
perfect. Thank you so much. Did you guys enjoy this hour? Thank you guys so much. Please give one more big round of applause for Sean Gunn and Dave Bautista.
Thanks, everybody.